Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Right Fit, building a parts intelligence solution for Shopify. I'm Sean Elstins. I am the co-founder and chief commerce officer at Shopify Premier Agency Fyresite. I have about 17 years of experience in e-commerce, as well as I grew up in a performance automotive shop in Northern California. I was a fabricator and installer until my early 20s. So I have a lot of experience in fitment and a lot of the nuance around it. And then we're going to take a deeper dive with our team, and I'll want Paul to go ahead and introduce himself as well.
Yeah, so I'm Paul Angichiodo. I've been with the company for 15 years, and I've been involved in just about every facet of the web development lifecycle, going from design to front-end dev, back-end customizations, and third-party integrations. So now my focus is around solution engineering and data migration for large merchants on or looking to move on to the Shopify platform. And a big part of that is fitment data.
So for the last 3.5 years, we have been developing a overall parts system, or for a system of modules for Shopify to fill the gaps in the platform for automotive merchants, whether it's automotive, power sports, marine, all have their own nuance. The biggest module and the biggest component of this is vehicle fitment. Around year, make, model. Our system, our fitment integrates directly with Algolia powered search and discovery. We have AI-driven results and purchase flows. We instill buyer confidence throughout the buying process, which we will demo later in our presentation. We have additional checks at the product level and in the cart to kind of validate whether or not that part fits, to instill that confidence and to reduce returns, and to instill overall confidence in that merchant. All this is maintainable within the Shopify UI. Me and Paul will be doing 2 demos. Paul will be starting out with his demo on one of our early merchants in this, Speed of Air Technologies. And then I will do the follow-up with one of our blue chip merchants, Diesel Power Products, where we have taken that kind of part system and expanded it greatly. And I'll let kind of Paul take it over from here. He wants to kind of explain kind of how our data modeling works, and I'll let him take the reins.
Yeah, so before I jump into the demo, I want to touch on some of the core concepts around our fitment model. So with fitment, one size doesn't fit all. In our experience, no 2 stores handle fitment exactly alike. And fitment can vary in many ways, from the data model itself and the variables used for matching to the applications. So you have things like year, make, model for a standard catalog, year, make, engine for engine-specific parts, throw in submodel for trim level fitment, and even things like horsepower for marine applications. So one rigid schema can't serve them all. And you also have variance in the fitment relationships. So you can have a one-to-one fitment relationship where one SKU is compatible with one vehicle, or you can have one-to-many relationships where one SKU is compatible with many different vehicles. So a flexible model is needed to handle all this variance. So the next concept is fitment reliability. So how you attach this data to products matters for reliable results. So attaching values directly to products doesn't always work by itself. It can work when you have a one-to-one relationship where you have separate and single values attached directly to the product. No problems there, but that quickly falls apart when you have a one-to-many relationship where these separate lists combine to equal impossible scenarios that don't exist in reality. So when they're combined freely and nothing tying them together, you get some of these results like this one here with the 2018 Honda F-150, which is not a real vehicle, but the data says they're both valid because the values exist on the product. So you need something to tie these values together. And that's where the concept as fitment as entities comes into play. So the idea is one entity equals one valid combination of fitment variables, and every valid combo is modeled on the store, so impossible ones can't exist. So you take those loose attributes and you group them into one entity, and those entities are indexed on their own, such as products or collections. So when you have the fitment as its own separate data model, it unlocks a lot of potential within Shopify. And this concept is entities become through lines. So not only are they through lines for your variable combinations, the year make model, for example, they're also through lines for fitment across the entire store. Since they're their own data model, you can attach them to other data models within the Shopify ecosystem, such as products to power search and discovery or buyer confidence UI. You can utilize them in smart collections to quickly scaffold fitment-based product groups. You can even attach them to customers to power a My Garage feature where customers can save their vehicles to their account and then take that a step further with customer segmentation for target marketing for customers that have the same vehicle, and even fitment-based buyer guides. So the idea is it can be attached to any data model within Shopify. So let's take a look at some of the first implementations we've done with the fitment and how that shaped the buyer's journey. So the website I'm going to show you is SOA Pistons. They're a high-efficiency piston manufacturer. This is where the entity model was born. So there's about 400 SKUs on the site, about 700 fitment entities utilizing make, model, year, engine, and it utilizes a one-to-many fitment relationship. So we did this store before we partnered with Algolia. So this is powered by the native Shopify search and discovery app. And I just want to go over some of the nasty limitations you might run into if you choose to go native with this. The first one is a 25 max filter group for your entire catalog and 100 max filter values per filter group there. So it isn't really set up for scale. So with that, I'll go ahead and demo the storefront. All right, so we're here on the Speed of Air homepage here. You can see along the bottom, we have the fitment form, which is powered by our fitment entities. And it's a step form, so each selection filters the next. So I'll go ahead and fill this out. I'll do the Chevy Corvette 2007 V8, hit search. This takes you to a pre-filtered product listing page where the results are filtered down to products that only match your selected values. You can also see along the sidebar here that some of these facets are disabled. That is also the fitment entities at work, making sure that no impossible combinations are available to be selected. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the PDP now. Scroll down to the buyer's guide. So this is the compatible vehicles list here. This is the fitment entities represented visually. So these are all the entities attached to the product. So I'm going to go ahead and find my Corvette down here. So there it is, the Corvette 2007. So that is the same vehicle I started with on the homepage, now confirmed on the PDP. So you can see how these fitment entities can provide a through line throughout the buyer's journey and provide that buyer confidence throughout. So this was the first implementation, and our current solution has evolved quite a bit from this. And I'll hand it back over to Sean so he can go over our latest implementation.
Thank you, Paul. So the demo I'm doing is going to be Diesel Power Products. This is one of our blue chip merchants. They were migrated to Shopify in early October of last year. We took over the project early January. We replaced their fitment with our system in middle of March. They've seen a 50 to 70% uptick in conversion rate. This is a very large store, 26,000 SKUs and growing, about 1,600 different collections. 350 different entities, and I'll kind of explain some of the nuance that you see in the diesel side. And then there's a mixed fitment model. Some products have a one-to-one fitment, some have a one-to-many. And then we also have universal products, which we need to show in those collections, but may not have direct fitment. And then I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So I'm going to walk through three different ways to get to the same product. First way we're going to start is traditional fitment. This particular merchant doesn't have year make model, it's make year engine, right? So it's one of the nuances. Year make engine is also another kind of nuance you see frequently in the diesel in the diesel realm. Within diesel, sometimes the motor will change and the body doesn't change, or vice versa. Sometimes the body will change and the motor doesn't change. So you have a lot of these individual series of products. So I'm going to go into GMC We're going to go into 2010, which is going to be an LMM series Duramax. I'm going to go ahead and search. The results on this particular merchant go to a set of sub collections versus going directly to the collection because of the number of products. So we're going to go into exhaust kits. And then within our results, we have some additional checks to let you know that, hey, your results are being filtered by the fitment you currently have selected. We have cached filtering faceting through Algolia, which is very rapid, especially when you have, sometimes some of these collections may have 800 to 1,000 possible results. This is semi-narrow because of the particular fitment that is selected. I'm going to go into this Atlas product. It confirms that it fits my vehicle. It also validates this at the cart level. So once we're in the cart, it will also loop back over what's currently being selected, and will validate the fitment on that vehicle on that particular part, just in case someone added something to the cart before selecting their fitment. The next way, this is the power to the Algolia search, is I'm going to search for a synonym. So I'm going to type in 2010 Duramax AFE exhaust, right? And so GMC or Chevrolet, right? Those have the Duramax platform. So we have some synonyms built in with Algolia. Some of those are AI generated. Some of those are manual, whether one-way or two-way synonyms. I'm able to get to this exact same product, right? This DPF back exhaust system, still confirming that it fits my vehicle. But that's an additional way for a different type of persona or a different type of customer to find the same result. And I'm going the third way. This is a live demo, but I will go ahead and pull up our chat system that also integrates with all of our fitment and our Algolia indexes. Go ahead and grab. Give me just a second here. And we're going to go into the chat. So this is another buyer journey. All of our fitment is indexed within the chat, looking for a particular product. So it gave me two options for my vehicle. That's no tip, and it allows me to either click through to the product, to either product that's available. First product to cart. We're going to have the chat see if we can add that first product, because that's the DPF bag exhaust system that I'm looking for. We're going to go ahead and ask the chat, see if we can create a cart session and potentially a checkout link. Looks like it was able to create a checkout link for me in my cart, so I'm going to follow that. And I have that exhaust system in my cart without interacting with anything but the interactive chat. So successful. The demo gods were on my side today. And that kind of concludes this side of the demo. If we can go back to the slides. And we have a little time from Q&A.
Hey, Sean, could you actually go back and do the fitment check in the chat?
Oh, yes, sir. All right. Does this fit? Okay. A fitment.
One more time.
In the chat. So in the chat here, Paul.
Yeah. So just put in your the 2010 GMC or the Duramax.
GMC. All right. Let's see here. Yep. All right. And so confirmed, it fits this 2010 GMC Duramax. GMC and Chevy have the same engine and transmission series, so it's universal in these products. They're good to go. That gives that additional set of validation. Thank you for calling that out, Paul. And now let's kind of go back to the slide deck, and we'll get it completed, and we'll open up for some Q&A. Can we go to the next slide? And Paul, do you want to kind of talk about this buyer journey side of it?
Yeah, so Sean just demoed those three different pathways here, and kind of this will outline the difference between them depending on the type of user you have, and we've highlighted the amount of clicks involved. So they all end up at the same result with a checkout with fitment confirmed. So that standard one, you're going through that YMME engine form, you're clicking each field, you take it to the sub collection, then the listings page, and then you can add to cart from the PDP or quick view, and then click checkout. So that's 8 clicks right there The search cuts those in half, typing in the search bar and going through that same route through the listings page and PDP to quick view, and then cart to checkout. And then the chat, which Sean demoed last there, which can essentially be accomplished with one click, just chatting with the agent, get your fitment confirmed, and check out from there. So pretty powerful stuff there. And that is utilizing Algolia's calls as well as the Shopify storefront MCP to create that checkout. So that pretty much concludes what we have to show here, and can open it up for any questions you have.
And one last thing, we do have a webinar tomorrow that's co-hosted with Shopify and Algolia to take a deeper dive into fitment. There's a QR code on the screen. I'll also drop the link in the chat should you want to sign up and join us. We'll have a long set of Q&A there as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I know it was challenging to pack an hour's worth of webinar content into 15 minutes, but you all did an amazing job. Very much appreciated. I love to see how the fitment becomes its own thing, the through line throughout all of this. One question that we had in the Q&A, it starts with a statement. That's some impressive data modeling. How many attributes does a typical product record now have?
1, 2, 3, 4. I'm looking. I actually have that one of our that exact product up. Attributes. We have about 30 attributes.
30 attributes.
Yeah.
So definitely some data enrichment and metadata kind of going in to fill this thing out.
Yeah. Significant amount, and a lot of it. We work with a lot of very experienced merchants that have merchandisers that have been with them for a decade, so we're able to draw on them of like what the best points are, and work through a lot of those synonym relationships and a lot of the nuances that you get in these automotive like sub verticals.
Right on. Yeah, I saw a comment in the chat from Ashita about how fitment feels like the future of e-commerce, and I would argue it even goes kind of beyond that. Having had some conversations with you all about fitment and learning more about it, I think even like in our documentation, right? Thinking about like an API and a language and a version of the API, like suddenly everything looks like a fitment use case to me these days.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree there. I think we are pushing out a B2B quick order as well for our fitment, where we can interact with the entire Shopify catalog in a single page. So at some point we would love to demo that. And we are pending fitment for every product added to the cart, so you can have multiple vehicles you're ordering from at once, and it's appending all that extra fitment data across the order and through the packing and everything else. So we're really opening up a new avenue on the Shopify side, powering with using the power of Algolia, which is great.
Awesome. Well, thank you both. I'm going to let you save some of it for the Fyresite webinar tomorrow. And we're going to move on to our next presenter. So take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.